All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have you here. Hopefully, everyone had a wonderful holidays. I have my little bow earrings. Celebrate the holidays. And today is December 28th, 2020. This is episode number 85. And today we are going to take a look at trait 58 in quality 6. So we're going to take a look at getting carried away with joyous vitality. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. We're also going to take a little look at the fighter as well that's coming up also. All right, before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. Here's Moxie. Moxie says hello. And let's start with Anna. Hey, Anna, welcome.
Hi, all. Welcome. Glad to be here.
Great to have you here. Welcome, welcome. And Natalie.
Yes, hello. Welcome everybody. Great to do this last show of the year.
That's true. It's the very last show of the year. Can you believe it? Wow. Yeah, only a few days left of 2020, believe it or not. Yeah, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Chris is on vacation and Rob just got a new job, so he's not going to be joining us anymore for BG5 Live, which makes me very sad. But we wish him the best of luck. Things have really started to come together for him, and he's going to be a part owner of this new endeavor as well. So it's a really amazing opportunity for him. So we'll miss you, Rob, and hopefully you'll be able to be one of our guests every now and then. All right, everyone. So again, what we're going to be taking a look at today is trait 58 in quality 6, getting carried away with joyous vitality. And again, we're shifting into a new year. So I wanted to talk just real briefly first about what to look at and expect for January as well. So we are going to continue and wrap up the journey of transformation and change in January. So today we are going to be taking a look at, oops, I forgot to fix this here. There we go. So we are going to be taking a look at joyous vitality today. So that's where we currently are. And again, I always find it fascinating. You know, the joyous vitality happens during Christmas as well. We're also going to take a look at the fighter. The fighter is in trait 38. This is the stubbornness to overcome the odds. So as we move into the new year, we're going to be moving into the fighter tomorrow. So we're going to talk about the fighter as well. As we go through January, one of the things that you're going to recognize is this pressure to transform in the new year. If you take a look at every single one of these traits, you will see that these traits are in a pressure function. So most of them are in drive and stamina. We have one that happens to be in the pressure of inspiration. So we're going to be in this pressure sandwich for the next month. So just be aware of when you're trying to hurry to get free of all of the pressure, especially if you have drive and stamina undefined, because you can see we have the fighter. Even joyous vitality, right? The vitality of 58 is in drive and stamina. The fighter in 38, the stubbornness to overcome the odds is in drive and stamina. Drive, of course, is in drive and stamina, right? The drive to rise up. The inner truth. This is the one trait that is in inspiration, yet still a pressure function. So we have the inner truth, the awareness of the universal underlying principles. We have acceptance in the 60, the acceptance of limitation and the pressure to mutate. One of the things that you'll notice if you take a look at today's chart, we have the 60 here that is in our judge and discipline. So there is a pressure here to mutate right now. So we have the 63 defined during this time as we move into the new year. So there is a pressure for change, a pressure for mutation. And then we have the 41 of the dreamer. This is the start codon. This is the start of the Rave New Year. And even the next trait over, as we take a look, we'll then move into the 13, which then starts uh, a whole new quarter. So again, one of the things just to pay attention to is this pressure of change, this pressure to mutate. It's going to be prevalent within this next month. So I didn't know if Anna or Natalie, if there's anything that you wanted to say or anything that you recognize already. I'm already recognizing this pressure to get things done, this pressure to get prepared for the new year. So I'm just interested to hear if either of you are starting to feel that pressure as well.
Well, we are on the same page, Karen. So no, we were actually sharing before. Maxi, before starting, that we are trying to get all of the projects reviewed right from our certification course. So yeah, no, yes. So I do feel that too. But what I want to reiterate, and this is what we are going to talk about in the coming BG5 lives as well. Try to let it flow through you, but not, get into this hurry. And as we will share in the coming weeks, and as probably many of you know, the actual energetic new year is January 21st. So all of this, you know, try to stay calm, because this will, also, New Year's Eve and the beginning of the new year, and you want to do it right this time, and after this really crazy 2020, let's start with a clean shake. Well, you will clean up your slate, or really know, what you want for 2021 more towards January 21st. So yes, you will feel the pressure, but
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point, Natalie, is that especially if you have drive and stamina undefined, like I have it, undefined, you're going to feel this pressure. Just because you feel the pressure doesn't mean that you need to act on the pressure. You still need to follow your decision-making strategy, but there is this pressure to want to be free. There is this pressure, like I said, this pressure going on to mutate and change. And again, if you're doing it correctly, it can be very positive. If you're doing it just to get rid of the pressure, then you're acting out of the shadow instead, and that can cause some chaos and confusion. So exactly what Natalie said, allow the pressure to be there without having to act. Yeah. Anything you'd like to add, Anna?
Just continuing with what both of you are saying, there's this pressure, so we want to do something with it. But again, especially if you have this open, undefined, the pressure is going to want you, drive you even more. So it's going to be important to literally look for the joy in this. With 58, the origins of this is to use your life force correctly for life giving. So yeah, there's lots of things to finish at the end of the year, especially after Christmas, after holidays, after visitors, all that stuff. You want to clean house in all the various ways that we do that, whether it's fasting or putting gifts away or getting rid of guests or whatever, and finishing projects. But projects have a life of their own sometimes. So it's about letting your body help you decide, am I enjoying this? And I don't mean every single step of the way, because we don't always enjoy every part of a project, but the overall sense of this is life giving. To do this, maybe it's boring to wash the dishes and put everything away again, but it's life giving, and that's really the nature of this vitality.
Yeah. Beautifully said, Anna. And this drive and stamina, this pressure is what, in a sense, activates the entire design, right? We have that pressure, that energy flows through our design. So just like what you said, realize the life-giving aspects of that as well. Really beautifully said. All right. Yeah. Moxie's here pressuring me as well today. Yeah. Wanting to be the star. All right. So this is another interesting thing as we move into the new year as well, just to pay attention to. The environment is also shifting as well. So we've been in a few months of this, gathering together with direction, right? The expression of higher principles in the physical world, the ability to focus on opportunity of gathering together for the service of higher principles. Or on the other hand, it could be, the influence a group, the influence group action for personal gain as well. So you may have been witnessing that in the world, in the news, in your own life. It's been sort of the background frequency as well as the sales and marketing with censorship, right? The alteration of memory through elimination and the use of censorship to maintain the status quo. So that's something that you may have also seen in the last few months as well. What's interesting is that we're shifting in January. So January 2nd and 3rd. So this week coming up, we are shifting into this gathering together exclusion. So we're shifting from the 45 4 as the future direction to the 45-3. In gathering together, it's exclusion. It's the instinct to find a way to be included in the material process, or the expression of frustration when not included in the material process, an aggressive and often violent reaction to exclusion. So again, there's going to be a lot of pressure here. We're going to talk a little bit about this today too, moving into the fighter as well, which is also a very individual pressure as well. So just again, just to be safe, just to be aware that the environment is changing, and just to be cautious in that as well. We are also shifting the past direction is shifting to the 26-3. It's shifting from censorship to influence. So the ability, once prepared, to gather support, the authority to focus communal efforts, or it can be the leadership while gathering support will underestimate the potential challenges. Right. So again, watch the news, watch what's going on in your own life. It's just interesting to just be aware of when those shifts are happening so you can start to feel that shift in the environment. Even though it is in the same trait, the quality of it is going to be different. We're moving from the 4 to the 3, so it's going to be much more material. It's going to be much more trial and error. So again, just pay attention, just be aware. All right, just to kind of give you a heads up. I don't know, Anna or Natalie, if you would like to add anything. Yes, Anna.
I did want to add, when you were talking about the ability, once prepared, to gather support, being prepared is actually finishing old things, being done with that, and then getting in a new position. That's pretty
Yep.
much the phase we're in right now in these next few days, few weeks. It doesn't mean finish everything, but make completion, get prepared for the next step, release the energy of something old, and so that it's available, and then you gather energy again for the next thing, and that's part of your natural influence um, of gathering support. Happens naturally when you let things cycle. When you finish one cycle, move into the next one.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So we're wrapping up this next year. We're moving into this new cycle. So being prepared, being aware, and allowing things to unfold and not get caught up or making decisions from that pressure. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Natalie?
Yeah, not really, but I'm curious. That's more like what I feel, especially about the gathering. I have that one in my the exclusion in my environment as well. So yeah.
Mm, yeah. So again, just be aware, pay attention, be prepared. All right. So, with that, let's take a look at wrapping up this trait 58 of vitality. We are in quality 6, so this is the last day that we're in this joyous vitality. Again, tomorrow we move into the fighter. So let's talk about this joyous vitality. So this is the zest for life and the energy for a better life. This is criticism is a natural byproduct of this improvement energy, right? This is collective. And if you take a look at what's on the other side, right, it's taking a look at correction. It's, on the other side, it's the cleaning house, right? Making sure that things are prepared and making sure that things are in order. This is the strength of, it makes up the strength of judgment, right? So criticism is criticizing that which is not complete or not fully joyous in that way. It's also bringing a joyful vitality and compassionate audacity. You excel at challenging patterns that don't work. And this is in the logic circuitry, so it's also this energy to challenge patterns that don't work. And it provides the fuel to test the viability of formulas and directions that are moving us into the future. Again, this is part of the logic circuitry, so it is focused on the future and what needs to be corrected in order for us to move forward into the future. This is the power or the energy that ultimately empowers our depth and our skills. If we take a look at that particular circuit stream as well. And the pleasure you derive from sharing your appreciation. Oops. Moxie's controlling the PowerPoint now. So
She
here we go.
really wants to be the star today, huh?
She does. Oh my goodness, you. So the pleasure you
She
derive
feels
from
the pressure, like she's like.
I
Good
know.
name too, Moxie,
Exactly. So the pleasure you derive from sharing your appreciation of beauty, the wonder and the zest that you have for your work and life naturally attracts and delights others as well. So I would love to hear. I don't think any of us here have the 58 in our design, but I would love to hear if there's anything more that you would like to add, Natalie, or add Anna, or if there's anyone who has anything in the chat who has it, or in Facebook Live.
Yeah. So yeah, Lisa is saying Maxi bringing joyous vitality to
Yes.
to our being. She does. So yeah, so I find this interesting. I have the other side, the 18, and the correction, the correction. So this is truly so. I find it fascinating that joyous vitality and criticism. I don't feel that as something being together. It feels paradoxical, right? But so the criticism is in. So think about this. This is the logical circuitry, the collective circuitry about the patterns in life, right? And the patterns of how we organize society or how, whatever. So if something is not operating really, fluently or whatever, then you can have criticism on that because it is endangering or taking away the joy of the flow of the right for joyous vitality and being compassionate. So what I also want to share about this because I know it very well for myself, having the 18 the other side, it is collective. So it is not towards a personal a person, not towards yourself, not towards another, to yeah, that's the other side. The criticism itself is more towards the collective process, etc. So if you move it inward, either to yourself or to another, you really encounter resistance, or you make yourself wrong for no reason, right? So it is the sharing of the patterns, you know, the logical patterns of life. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And it's this vitality. If we take a look at this whole entire stream that ultimately gets expressed through through our skill, it's the vitality that has us perfect things, right? To repeat things over and over and over, to criticize it, to see, oh, how can I make it
Yes.
better?
Yeah.
And to share, you know, how can you make it better? Or how can we make it better? How can we perfect it? How can we develop the skill ultimately? So it's this vitality that keeps us going even when we may have, you know, something that's repetitive in developing a skill or a strength or our talent. Yeah. Really beautifully said, Natalie. Thank you. Yeah, anything, Anna, you'd like to add?
Yeah, I when I come across this, I don't have it either one, 18 or 58. But I think of, I don't know who our celebrity is today, but I think of somebody like Dennis Rodman. I don't
Mm,
know if, you know, he is a basketball star um, from the 90s. He was on the Pistons and the Bulls. Anyway, he was this crazy guy, this guy that had Superman energy. And part of this vitality is in the strength of judgment, good judgment. And this vitality is really about directing all that energy for good. And it's an insatiable energy for life, and it can't really be all used up. It's fuel. It's basically fuel. And this guy was well known for being a bad boy, you know, changed all kinds of patterns, you know, was crazy, dyed his hair, you know, all this stuff that was ahead of its time. And so he was very audacious, and but he drove that whole team. He
mm,
had the drive, the focused energy, and he was the one that rebounded. He was the one that did all the dirty work. He was the battery for that whole team, and he was a crazy guy. But when he was focused on that team, on that sense of winning the well-being of the whole team, he was amazing. So, you know, if you ever want to look him up, you know, he's on YouTube, you know, you can find him. But he was something
yeah.
to watch. I always think, when I think of the 58, I think of him.
Well, we do have a basketball player actually as the as the celebrity. We have LeBron James, also Tiger Woods as well. Is but he's 50, he's 58.5, and LeBron James was 58.6. So I pulled up LeBron James, but also a basketball player, and it's very interesting if we take a look at the 58.6, right? The life work theme is demands. This is the same for Tiger Woods as well. You're willing to apply your energy to or identify with someone's project or performing of a skill if you get what you want in return. The best defense is a good offense. Right. So it's very interesting. Happens to be a basketball player, and LeBron James is an American professional basketball player for the Los Angeles Lakers, of the National Basketball Association, and he's widely considered one of the greatest NBA players in history. And he's frequently compared to Michael Jordan, you know, in debates over the greatest basketball player of all time. So it's interesting that we'll have to take a look at who did you mention again? No,
Dennis
yeah,
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. We'll have to take a look, and that'd be fascinating to look him up as well. So again, you can see that it is this fuel that fuels the skill, that fuels this repetition to develop that talent. And again, it's a pressure. So there's also these demands, right? And to apply your energy in with someone's project or performing of a skill, that's exactly what it is when in performing on a team as well, or perfecting your skill like Tiger Woods as well. Very fascinating. Very cool.
Oh,
There
someone in our Facebook says he was the crazy guy on the team, dyeing his hair, etc. He might have had the 58-2 perversion.
True. We'll definitely have to
Yeah, we
look
have
him
to
up.
look him up. Yeah.
But again, just it's interesting because this whole realm of correction, of logic and correcting patterns, he was a forerunner to a lot of the way people dress and look now, 30 years ago. So he had the audacity. People like to see him from a perverted point of view. But if you look at that whole energy of where do you put all that energy if you're not on the court? Because
Mm,
one of the things about this is the need to see beauty, the need to
yeah.
value things, the need to be valued, to give energy to things that are not yet people aren't yet aware of. So yeah, he got a lot of criticism, and he deserved some of it, but some of it he didn't.
Yeah. Very fascinating. Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. Well, let's take a look at this trait 6 a little bit deeper as well. Or quality 6, I should say. Quality 6 in trait 58. So, when we take a look at vitality, the quality 6 is about being carried away. And when we take a look at carried away, the 6, remember the 6 is always the leader, the role model. And so the elevation is the energy to fuel independent integrity that will maintain its identity in times of stimulation, right? So when there is pressure, there's the ability to maintain your identity, even through this stimulation, even through this pressure. The tendency the tendency to practicality, that while thoroughly enjoying external stimulation, has the instinct to draw back when its independent integrity is threatened, right? So we can imagine what's on the other end. So this picture here kind of shows on one side, right, maintaining the integrity, on the other side the energy which fuels the loss of identity in times of stimulation. So again, during this time with all of this pressure, again, you can succumb to the pressure, not following your decision making strategy, and start to make decisions from that pressure, which can cause or fuel the loss of identity, right? So it's the energy which fuels the loss of identity in times of stimulation. When its basic intelligence is effectively stimulated, its natural desire for attunement will lead to the identity to identifying so strongly with the stimulation that it is as at risk of losing its identity. So it's when you get so identified with whatever the problem is, or whatever the stimulation is, or whatever the situation is, you get identified with whatever that is, that you lose your own identity, right? So that's the challenge of it as well. So I'd love to hear any insights or thoughts that may come up in taking a look at this vitality in maintaining your independent integrity, or that loss of the identity in times of stimulation.
I think of this part as that um, whole underneath quality of addiction, that you can, the need for stimulation or the need to reduce stimulation, but somehow getting lost, you can get lost in whatever it is you're after and
Mm,
lose your identity. Or you can direct, I mean, this this is a life process. I'm not saying it's easy to switch between these, but you can begin to identify with your integrity when there's a loss of integrity, when you're not recognized, because this is projected, right? There's a
Yes.
quality where you need the recognition of another, you need an invitation of another. When that's not given, you can begin to self-criticize, like Natalie was saying. You can begin to personalize it rather than keep it in this collective world. So I just think about, the subtlety of addictions, our need for stimulus or numbing, uh, in our realm of vitality.
Yeah. Yeah, great point, Anna. I was also thinking, even like in a job or a career or even a talent, sometimes you get so lost into it that it becomes your identity. And if you lose that, right? So if you train as an athlete all your life and then you get a major injury that ends your career, right? You've identified with it so much that, if there's an injury, you then lose your identity. So just kind of taking a look at, where can you be strong in maintaining your authenticity? Where can you be strong in, fueling your independent integrity? And where are you identifying with something that, could potentially have you lose your identity as well? Yeah. Anything you'd like to add, Natalie?
Nope, I will talk next.
All right.
Because that's in my
Yes.
design as well.
So again, this is in quality 6. This is the last day that we're experiencing this joyous vitality and what we are moving into for the next week. So also to prepare you for this next week as we move into 2021 is we move into the fighter. So this is stubbornness, and stubbornness that can overcome the odds. So when we take a look at the fighter in trait 38, this is the energy necessary to combat fear and know that life is of value. It's the ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. Again, if we take a look at this, you'll notice that there's kind of this theme that carries over, in preserving your individual integrity, because what we're now moving from the collective, we're now moving to the individual strength. And to be an individual sometimes means that you have to stand up and fight for being individual, for being unique, for being yourself, as opposed to getting lost in the collective, right? So, this is the ability to preserve integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. This is fueled by the energy to oppose. You are capable, you're capable of forcefully confronting adversity. You actually enjoy a good fight, right? So oftentimes we can think of, getting into a fight as a bad thing, but in a sense, again, fighting for our own individuality, fighting for our own rights, fighting for the rights of others. Um, Life that elevates your strength above simple survival, right? This is fighting for, in a sense, what's on the other side, which is having life worth meaning. It's the game player, but it's really, it's that fear of, death, but it's more of the fear of death without having fully been alive, without having something that's worth fighting for. And it's the sense of purpose. And the sense of purpose is enhanced when you stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. And it's a highly focused stubbornness to meet any challenge, even death, head on. Right? So it's all about the fighter. And Natalie, you know this one quite well, yes?
Yeah, you too. No, yeah. So both Karen and myself have it in our life work, right? Because Karen is on my
no,
half birthday.
I don't have it in my life work.
You don't?
No.
Oh, you have the 51, 50. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, that's true because
Yeah, you're a 5-1 and I'm a 1-3. So
yeah, exactly. Anyway, Yeah, so I do have it in my life work, and if you can scroll back to the
Mhm.
so it grounds me. So I actually I always found it fascinating. I have an open emotional intelligence, and generally you are nervous for confrontation, right? But I never felt that. I was like,
Mm.
well, I don't care. I don't care if you don't agree, but if I really feel, especially it's about the if there's injustice,
Mm.
or if there is not only for me but also for that's also with this those that cannot stand up for themselves, right? Then heads on, I really do not care how you will perceive it or how you will. But yeah, I've been told by people, um gosh, what's the word, that I'm so mm, I don't know if it's the good word, but pure in that sense, like so I don't fight to just have a fight.
Mm.
I don't go in there to be a pain in the ass, right? That's not my game. But if there is some injustice or some, right, then I really yeah. And then for my individual integrity, the same. And yeah, my life work is, the theme of individualism, so it's kind of being la 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 la. So it's, yeah, it is a powerful a powerful pressure, but something I really identify with. And the other side, so the 39, because they are how do you say that, they balance each other, right?
Right. Mhm.
Is also the poking and provoking. So if so the fighter together with provoking out the spirit, I could also put up nah, that's a fight to get somebody shaken up, right? So it kind of plays together. And so when I first read You Actually Enjoy a Good Fight, I'm not somebody, I'm really a gentle, I don't have confrontations that often. I really don't. But if there is injustice, then I don't mind, really don't mind. Yeah, because it comes from another force, right? It's yeah, and it is truly a fuel. It really is. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
And it
stubbornness, yeah.
yeah.
Stubbornness is really Karen knows this. Then sometimes I just come back to the same, like, but yeah,
And that fighting also, I mean, again, that fighting also for what you believe in
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
There's that energy, that fuel to, what, whether it be, fighting for your family, or fighting for those that can't stand up for themselves, or, oftentimes, for BG5, for BG5 itself,
yeah. For
kind of
truthfulness,
it's something that I believe in, and fighting to get it, out into the world in a bigger way.
yeah, and then
Fight
it
for the
really,
integrity.
yeah,
Right.
Yep.
yeah, and then
Exactly.
the struggles are worth it, right? Then
Right.
you will struggle for it.
Yeah.
Then, because without it, you could just as well just give up, right? You could, yeah. Then what's life worth if you don't stand up for it? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the death, where was the death? Even death, that, But anyway, that's maybe if it comes to the point that I'm like, well, what the heck? If that, I've never been in that place. But
Right.
yeah,
But again, it gives, it's fighting for something that gives life reason and purpose and meaning, right? Because that's ultimately what's on the other side as well, right? When we
And
take a look at the 28. Yes, Anna.
when you mentioned about BG5, that's the whole purpose of BG5 and human design, is allowing somebody to have their integrity. Not everybody has to fight this particular with this trait, but the overall energy is about let's become unique individuals. Let's have the integrity all of us naturally are entitled to.
Yeah, exactly. And as I mentioned before, the collective, right, is all about sharing. The tribal is all about traditions and supporting. This is about empowerment. So this is the energy of empowering and fighting to be yourself and to be in integrity. And by its very nature, individuality brings change, right? We're in this mutative change right now. Also, remember we took a look at the 6 and the 3 are connected, right? So we have this strength of mutation that's happening right now. That's also individual. So in a sense, we're fighting for, in a sense, this mutation, this change. So just be very aware and very cautious in this next week because there's a lot of things changing. We took a look at the background changing. We took a look at, again, moving into the fighter. So also be aware that if you don't have this defined, you may feel yourself, yeah, riled up and feeling the energy of wanting to fight for something. And again, it's not about fighting for anything or everything. And again, it's kind of like that vitality, not taking it in personally, but taking a look at what is really worth fighting for. What is really worth standing up for, right? And one of the most valuable things that you can stand up for is yourself. Yeah. All right. Any other comments that we have in Facebook or in our Zoom room?
Well, there's a long one. It's a beautiful one, but so we have Amanda shares that she has both the 38 and the 58, and the 58 twice. And she feels that the vitality aspect of the 58 really grounds the process and keeps her from going on drift. And then Miriam, she also has the 58 actually, and she shares shortly before the call, I sent at an email and I write based on my intuition, my intuitive power, and an invitation from my survival instinct, not because of the invitation of another person. So if I take this risk of also loving my third line public role, then I will make sure that I really write the message in my energy, which means that I allow myself to express myself so lovingly, warmly, and gracefully that it is a pleasure for me to know this news in the world. A wonderful way to guard my identity, but honestly, as this being of change, I'm also allowing to experience to have a looser connection with my self-image because this is part of my identity as a 1-3 public role. Anyway, beautiful sharing, but I
Yeah.
need to sit
Wow.
with it to kind of conceptualize what you're actually sharing, Miriam. But it's beautiful. I don't know if you'd like to say listening to it, Karen, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think, just kind of taking a look at how all of those energies work together. With, especially if you have a couple of these defined. And again, you also want to take a look at, do you have this drive and stamina defined or not? Notice that
Yeah.
both of these traits are in drive and stamina, right? So if you have these defined and, drive and stamina is defined, again, it's using your energy in that pressure in a correct way. Because if you don't use it in a correct way, it can also burn you out, as Natalie, knows very well. On the other side, if you do have it undefined, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the pressure to be in a hurry, to get free. And so it's kind of just realize that in these coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of pressure, right? Especially in this next week, there's going to be the pressure to fight. So just be aware of that. And, just pay attention so that you can keep yourself grounded. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. It's been an amazing discussion. Again, if you want to find out your own design, you can download your chart here at the BG5 Business Institute, so you can get your chart and you can follow along with the BG5 Live to see if you have a trait or not. Also, you can watch past episodes of our BG5 Live and find out, especially as we go through, the fighter. You may want to take a look each day as to what is up and how it may be affecting you depending on the traits as we go through them over the next week. And we also have our classes coming up as well. So we currently have our early registration. The early registration is up to 2 weeks before the class begins. Typically, it was January 1st, which is only a few days away. But we do have a couple extra days, if you will. It'll be 2 weeks before the class starts that the early bird registration is available. So make sure you sign up and check out the classes as well. So let's wrap everything up for today. And I would love to hear from Natalie and Anna, or if anyone else wants to share any words of wisdom as we move into this next week and as we move into this new year as well.
Well, I'd like to say, yeah, breathe through. That really, because you will feel that there is this pressure and this, and I think this year even more because we had such a crazy 2020 that you really want to make the best of 2021, and you may be kind of, going in on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day with fresh energy and then being bumped within 1 week or two because, it doesn't move, it doesn't do what you may expect or want it to do. So, yeah, I cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah. Really, really good advice. Thank you, Natalie. How about for you, Anna?
That was very good advice. Yeah, there is a burst of energy right now, but you don't have to worry about sustaining that level. There are other parts of the cycle. So if you make new plans for the new year and you want to get rolling on something, know that this is a burst of energy. You don't have to sustain this level. Other things will support your integrity.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think, one of the big messages that I've seen and kind of going through today is that message of just like what Anna said is keep an integrity with yourself. So I would just repeat what Natalie said is breathe. When you feel that pressure, when you feel that urge to fight, just breathe through it, right? I'll just allow that to let go, to change, to know that change is afoot. Things are changing. There's a big pressure to change and to mutate, and to know that it's part of what we're all going through in humanity as well. Again, it's the next step. We're now 6 years away from 2027. So this is what the changing of this cycle looks like. And so instead of shutting down and being afraid, one of the things that I've really done is open up, and I love kind of seeing what's happening because we're witnessing history in the making. We are witnessing an incredible time. Now, is it going to be comfortable? Is it going to be easy? Probably not. We've been programmed and conditioned for what the past 400 years in the era of planning, and I feel like we're in this deconditioning program, if you will, as we move towards a new future in 2027, and a new background frequency in 2027. So it may look scary, it may look weird, it may be very confronting, but if you can just trust yourself and be in integrity with yourself and follow your decision making strategy, you'll be exactly where you need to be. And Ra always said he wasn't afraid, for his kids moving forward into the future, because if you're following your decision making strategy, you'll get exactly what you're here to get, and then it makes it fun, if you will, to witness this transition and witness this change. So again, just be ultra aware of the pressure that's happening currently. Did you want to add something, Natalie?
No, I just want to say that's making it even more. You put it into perspective of what we also know from design about this last process 7-year cycle. So there is kind of a double pressure or extra pressure of closing this era of 400 somewhat years. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, very cool, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year. And we'll see you all next year.
On Karen's birthday.
Yes, next week is my birthday.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.